That's no plug.
That's no plug. That is an actual.
That is not a plug. That is just us talking about it. It is our $9.99 a month addiction.
Yeah.
Yes.
So here's an interesting question because we talked about this a little bit earlier about how one of your guys' opponent this Sunday, Zachary Hagenbusher, actually mentioned WrestleMania 32 going down as probably one of the worst WrestleManias of all time. But I want to know what your guys' opinion was for the worst WrestleMania that they probably ever done. I think a lot of people already come to mind. They're just going to say 27, 27.
27
Not
was bad.
necessarily.
I mean, it's the bad one in the sense that even some of the worst WrestleManias, like say, some of the worst WrestleManias will have at least one or two good matches on it, or at least one or two segments or matches that you don't really have anything you can complain about, you know? Even if you didn't personally enjoy it. WrestleMania 27, I think people just generally call it the bad one because almost everything on that card, except for maybe, I forget, was the CM Punk match, was that him and Orton?
Yeah, the two matches that really stood out to me that were really good singles matches were Punk and Orton, as well as Mysterio and Cody Rhodes.
That's the
So,
one I was thinking of, the Mysterio Rhodes one. That's like the only thing on the card I don't have a single complaint with. Those two, they they kicked it off nice. But even like Punk and Orton, I don't know, it felt really slow to me, and the finish just kind of felt like, okay, here's the finish, instead of like, build up to it.
right.
I think that's kind of why people usually look at it as the bad one, because it's like, because I've even heard people complain about even people who liked the Rhodes Mysterio match, even they like, I didn't like this, or I didn't like the build up, or whatever. And I think that's pretty much it. Even though there are manias that are worse, that's the one that where there's almost nothing you can't complain about, even if the parts you're complaining about still have a lot of good to them.
Right.
For me, worst WrestleMania? Oh, that's tough.
I mean, I can give you guys mine if you want, if
I
it
mean,
helps.
well, yeah, go ahead.
Well, also going to WrestleMania 27, that was also the Mania that we saw the Jersey Shore's Snooki get involved.
Fuck
The,
you.
Shut
the,
the
weird,
fuck up.
the weird thing about that was that I honestly thought to myself, oh, she is going to do so horrible in that matchup. And then next thing you know, she starts doing cartwheels and bat flips, and my jaw was just literally on the ground like, who the fuck are you? And what have you done with Snooki? What did you get a stunt double that looks exactly like you? I mean, I was just amazed at how, athletic she was. I was like, holy fucking shit, who the hell are you?
Well, I mean, the thing is, like, someone can be athletic and still be a terrible wrestler. So, I mean, God, like, what's not Naomi? Who's the other Funkadactyl?
Cameron.
Cameron is actually a very athletic young woman. She's fucking balls in the ring, but she's really athletic.
But
Well, that's what happens when you try to pin somebody on their stomach.
Oh,
man.
I just
But as bad as Cameron is, still not as bad as All Red Everything. Everybody shut the fuck up.
yeah.
But as far as worst WrestleMania, I think the worst one was WrestleMania 2. They did a good job with WrestleMania 1. I gave them that one the benefit of the doubt. But WrestleMania 2 had such a horrible concept to where, we do it in LA, we do it in Chicago, and then we do it in Madison Square Garden again. It just seemed like a waste. And plus, the three main events were not that good. I mean, they had the Battle Royal, I think, in Chicago. I think they had Piper and Mr. T in a boxing match in LA, and then they ended with Hogan and King Kong Bundy, which probably was one of the worst cage matches that anybody will ever see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. I actually just looked it up. Mr. T versus Roddy Piper in that fucking boxing match. Ugh. That was in Uniondale, New York. That was the first main.
Oh, okay.
Then the second main event was the WWF versus NFL Battle Royal in Rosemont, Illinois.
Sit down.
And then in LA at the LA Memorial Sports Arena was King Kong Bundy and Hulk Hogan punishing us in a steel cage match.
Okay, so I just basically had like, the only two I had to switch was the first and the last one, but oh well.
Yeah, but still.
You were 1 for 3.
I mean, honestly though, it just seems really stupid that it's like, okay, New York event done, Move your head over here, and we're gonna see what happens in Rosemont. Move your head over here. We're gonna show you what's happening in fucking LA.
LA.
Like that just seemed like such a waste of time. What? And that seemed like such a hassle. Just
Oh, and think about like every location. You only got like what, maybe an hour-long show, and then you have to watch the rest on basically like a Titantron.
yeah.
You paid for 2 hours of TV basically.
People paid a lot of money just to see one matchup that probably didn't even go up to par with anything else.
Well, you got to remember at that time too. Probably tickets to WrestleMania were not that expensive because it was so new.
That's
True. I mean,
it's not like today where I can probably look up tickets for WrestleMania and they'll be in the thousands.
Oh yeah.
Oh, some of them. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, like, I mean, I've watched every single Mania. I've watched them all multiple times. I mean, first WrestleMania, I'm a lot like you, Nate. I'm willing to give that one the benefit
Life.
because it's the first one. It's sort of like, okay, is it necessarily the best? No. It's still kind of a fun watch, and it's interesting from like a historical perspective. But like WrestleMania 2, pretty shit. WrestleMania 3, outside of Hogan slamming Andre, kind of shitty. WrestleMania 4, outside of the Savage DiBiase main event for the vacant title, kind of shit. WrestleMania 5, hell, I just literally looked that one up, and at the time, back when that show debuted, it was considered the worst major wrestling show of the entirety of 1989.
Wait, WrestleMania 5?
Yup.
Wow. And that was with
Yeah.
Hogan and Savage, right?
Yeah, that was the Mega Powers Exploding. That was
Damn.
Savage versus Hogan, where Savage was defending the title against Hogan as a heel. WrestleMania 6, I mean, yeah, that's the Ultimate Warrior champion versus champion with Hulk Hogan. Go back and watch that match. It's not really all that great. I mean, if you ask me, WrestleMania really didn't start to have like truly good cards until like WrestleMania probably like 7, 8. But even then, you get like WrestleMania 9.
Yeah.
God, yeah. Or like, I think it was WrestleMania 11. That one's usually
Oh, we'll
pretty
get to that
mandatory.
one.
Yeah, but like, if I had to pick one that's the worst, I'd probably pick one that I think kind of exemplifies like all the worst traits of either the company as a whole or like the company at that time. And for me, I pick one that I think a lot of people overlook. WrestleMania 16, aka WrestleMania 2000.
That was
Really?
mine too.
WrestleMania 2000, I think, is god-awful, partially because it's fucking cluttered. There is literally not a single straight-up one-on-one singles match on the card. That's not a problem,
True.
but every single match has got interference. Every single match has got about 30 storylines going on in it. I mean, for crying out loud, the main event, well, hey, fuck it. It was Triple H versus The Rock, Mick Foley, and Big Show in a fatal four-way, four corners elimination WWF championship match with a Representative McMahon in every single corner. And if I remember correctly, I think at least one person, if they didn't win the title, was going to be fired because there weren't enough storylines there.
Hmm.
It's just, to me, that one just like, it's pretty much, it's all of the worst stupid shit of the Attitude Era in one like 4-hour show.
I think the good thing, I think there were only like so many sporadic matches during WrestleMania 2000 that were good. I mean, the hardcore battle royal I thought was pretty entertaining for the most part.
Yeah, that one, I forget.
There was
That's the one where Hardcore Holly eliminated Crash Holly last to win, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It was well, they had a different
Yes, I'm right.
something like that. But then they also had the triple threat double pin deal where they had the Intercontinental and the European title online, which I thought was just awesome. And the fact that
That
Kurt
was
didn't even get pinned to even lose the titles, which makes people think, oh, Kurt got screwed at WrestleMania. It's like, yeah, but it was still funny as hell, especially.
pretty damn funny, I think.
And then, of course, without WrestleMania 2000, we would have not been introduced to TLC because of the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, and the Dudley Boys.
And that's
That is
really the
true.
only takeaway from WrestleMania 32 is the triple threat match for TLC match. That's really it.
Yeah, I mean, the TLC match was definitely the highlight of the card. The Hardcore Battle Royal It had its moments.
Actually, technically, back then, it was actually a triangle ladder match, if you remember. They just decided put in, we're going to throw in tables because of the Dudley Boys. We're going to throw in chairs just because of Edge and Christian. And then that SummerSlam is when they actually had the first quote-unquote official
TLC.
Which was awesome still.
Yeah, and that's because I remember they didn't the TLC match they had at WrestleMania X7, they only called that TLC 2. Because that was only the second one to feature the actual name. Yeah, you're right. But like I said, that's like the only takeaway from. I mean, even now, like I remember watching WrestleMania 2000, WrestleMania 16, whatever you want to call it. I remember watching that live, and I just remember kind of going between being bored and just getting more and more irritated. I'm like 11, 12 years old at that point, and I'm sitting there acting like a surly smark because it's just not well put together. I mean, I'll freely admit, lost my mind for the triangle ladder match, but
we all did. Holy shit!
I mean, yeah, God. I mean, but even then, I mean, was that a great match? Yeah. And then the other TLC matches happened, and I'm sorry, for me, the best of those three tag teams going at it, the best one was at WrestleMania X7. That TLC 2 is just. And of course, I'm cliche. I gotta pick spot of the night with that one. Edge spearing Hardy off the titles. Just Jeff Hardy's been broken, smack dab in half.
Max, let's face it. At that age, you were more interested in seeing Lita just taking off her top and showing off her bra, and then it's just like,
shut up.
Yeah, boobies. Oh,
shut up. I think we're still at that point today.
What, boobies?
Dude, hey, have you seen Lita? She still looks phenomenal.
Oh God, yeah.
She's still a very beautiful woman.
She somehow has found the fountain of youth because she looks like she hasn't aged a bit.
I feel like, dude, have you seen like some wrestlers just really have like honestly, The Rock has clearly aged. Dude does not look like he's in his mid-40s.
No.
Oh God, no.
Like even Vince, like you look at Vince just like when he's wearing a suit, when he's actually like kind of well rested, doesn't look like a man in his 60s. He looks at best in his 50s.
Isn't he in his 70s?
I'm pretty sure he's in his 60s.
I'm honestly.
I might be wrong, but he definitely looks younger than what he is, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Oh, Triple H is in his mid-40s, and I honestly, if I didn't know who the hell he was, I'd pin him down in his mid-30s.
Vince is 70.
At least when he had more hair.
Vince is 70, right?
Yes.
The thing
Vince
is
110, right?
Yeah. He looks great for 110.
Well, for me, the thing about Vince is that he looks old enough to be in a retirement home. I'm sorry. And I've said this again. Retire, Vince. Retire. It's a big word, I know. And I'm going into my whole big vocabulary Jericho gimmick right here, where I say retirement, where you go into a home and they take care of you and you don't have to worry about anything. And your son-in-law and your daughter can actually make the company better, and now you have your actual son here. You could actually do something good, and you could just stay at home and hang out with whoever you want. Maybe people power can help you out. Oh God, that would actually drive him to suicide. I'm sorry, Vince.
Oh my God, yes.
Ugh. That's got a bad taste in my mouth.
Actually, that's a good one. Authority figures, because God, I can't even say authority without thinking about that needs to die at WrestleMania. I'm sorry. That's been going on for a long time. But okay, how about people who have power? Like the Eric Bischoffs, the Vicky Guerreros, the Teddy Longs, the John Laurinaitis. If you had to pick your best person and your worst person, who would that be? As far as like your general manager of SmackDown, Raw, ECW, and I swear to you, if one of you says Armando Estrada, I will literally come find you and I will knock you out as that one guy got knocked out in UFC fights last night.
Armando Estrada. No.
In all honesty, I enjoyed Teddy Long when he was in charge of SmackDown.
Oh, Teddy Long was very entertaining.
Yeah.
For me, it would be anyone that's any GM or authority figure that's been a babyface. I honestly, like, in the Attitude Era, they made it make sense with Vince. Outside of that, the heel GM, the heel owner of the company, has never made sense to me. Why would you want the person who's the voice of your company, the representative of your company, especially when you're in a state of, like an era where you're making a lot of mistakes or the crowd is very critical of what you're doing, why would you make the representative of your company, fictional or not, an asshole?
Well, the only person that actually pulled that off perfectly was Eric Bischoff.